Welcome back, everybody. You know what it is. I know you know what it is. It's the second hour of Fire Your MD Now. We have Fire Your MD Now. Check it out on the web. Sign up for the free newsletter and get 7 days of free access to my online health recovery program. 7 days free access to my online health recovery program. And join us at tonight's webinar, How to Dose Your Kids Appropriately. Now, Karen, are you still with me on the line here? Did you stick around over the break? Are you still with me?
Yes, I am.
Okay, very good. So the recommendation here to help people gain weight or lose weight, gain health, lose weight, is fill your body's nutritional tank up every day with the appropriate stuff and eliminate the 10 bad foods, right? And then dial in 1,200 calories a day, 1,200 calories a day, like your life depended on it. Now, when your body's nutritional tank is full, 1,200 calories a day is a walk in the park. When your body's nutritional tank is empty, 1,200 calories a day is a struggle. And when you do 1,200 calories a day and the nutritional supplements, you'll lose about a pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds a week. And I don't recommend people do the ASAP stuff until the 3rd month of the program. I don't recommend people do the ASAP until the 3rd month of the program.
Okay.
So just eliminate the 10 bad foods, take the nutritional supplements for the 1st month, and then once you're into that groove, starting in month number 2, you eliminate the 10 bad foods, take the nutritional supplements, and dial in 1,200 calories a day, 1,200 calories a day, and just stay on 1,200 calories a day until you've reached your target weight. Now, starting on month number 4, anytime after the 3rd month, if you want to, for a week or 2 at a time, you can add the ASAP into the program. But I don't recommend you do the ASAP right away. I recommend you wait until the 4th month to do the ASAP, because when you burn fat aggressively, which you will do with the ASAP program, you release crap into the blood that your body needs nutrients to metabolize, and so it's better to wait and just do the 1,200 calorie a day and the nutrient thing, and then you're going to lose weight really nice and easily for your body, and then you can accelerate it starting in the 4th month with the ASAP program. All right, now, in order to support and promote healthy blood pressure, the first thing to consider is that your body is deficient in calcium. So the liquid calcium that is going to be present in the Healthy Start packs that you're taking is sufficient to the cause, should be sufficient to the cause. If blood pressure, is this like one of your chief complaints, high blood pressure?
Actually, even worse than that, that's doing pretty well with the medication and exercise I've been doing so far. But I know that's just the symptoms, not the cure. The worst thing, and I know you all talk about cholesterol, my triglycerides are so high, and the HDL and the LDL are flip-flopped according to traditional medicine.
Okay, so that's bad, right? Yeah, that's bad. That means now from our point of view, high LDL, which is low-density lipoprotein, is an indication that something called oxidative damage is happening to your body. There's oxidative stress happening to your body, and from our point of view, oxidative damage turns HDL, which is the good cholesterol, so to speak, into LDL, which is the bad cholesterol. And by the way, there's no such thing as good cholesterol or bad cholesterol. These are just descriptive names that physicians have given to try to help people understand these things. There's nothing wrong with LDL. You could suck out all the LDL in your body and squirt it into my body, and nothing bad would happen to me. It's not the HDL or the LDL that's the problem. It's the metabolic process that made them form that's the problem. For instance, with men with prostate cancer, right, that there's something called a PSA level. Well, the PSA, there's nothing wrong with the PSA. Like the PSA isn't poisonous. It's not a poisonous or toxic chemical in and of itself. It's just an indicator that something is wrong with the body. Well, when you have low HDL and high LDL, that's an indication that there's something wrong with the body. And, well, what's wrong? Well, you're eating too many fried foods. You're eating oil in a bottle. You're eating all of the wrong food. There's a lot of inflammatory damage in the body that's happening because you're eating all the wrong foods, and your body doesn't have the wherewithal to be able to put those fires out. It's like, if your house caught on fire and the fire truck shows up, but there's no hydrant to stick the hose into, the house is going to burn down because you don't have any water, for goodness sake. Well,
right.
It's the same in the human body. So this is our twofold approach here, is to clean your diet up, eliminate the foods that are causing the fires in your body, number one, and then number two, give your body the supplements that it needs to put the fires out. And so when you're on our program, as time marches on, your triglycerides, HDL, and LDL will flip-flop, and your HDLs will get higher and higher, and your LDLs will get lower and lower, and your triglycerides will come into the normal zone. So that this is where the proof of the pudding's in the eating. And also, you need to keep track of, is blood sugar an issue for you as well? You're type 2 diabetic?
No, I'm not diabetic. I'm probably, though they haven't told me this, maybe pre-diabetic, since the triglycerides are so high, I would imagine. But I am not diabetic. Okay.
So are you measuring your blood pressure on a regular basis?
Yes.
Okay. So you want to, once you start our program, you want to continue to do that. And here's why. Because the medical nutrition, most of the time, normalizes blood pressure because it gets to the root cause of what was generating the blood pressure, the high blood pressure to begin with. So now, if you have normal blood pressure and you take blood pressure medication, well, that's going to make your blood pressure too low, right?
Right. That's why you have to keep track of it.
Yeah, so as your blood pressure numbers start to come down on the medication, right, and our program, you're going to have to wean off of the blood pressure meds appropriately.
And that's what he told me he was more than willing to do.
Yeah, so you'll see it. Yeah, and I love helping people with this particular problem because they're measuring it every day, and for goodness sake, you can chart it,
And then the other thing you mentioned about inflammatory, I do have a touch of arthritis in my knees and stuff, especially when it's cold, but I imagine the exercise, which I am doing, and being on this new program and losing the weight will help that.
Well, not so much the exercise, which is an interesting thing to talk about, and this is a disconnect for most people in our culture. Now, Dr. Wallach is correct and famous for saying that exercise without proper supplementation is suicide, because our whole thing here is that the reason that you're overweight, the reason that you have high blood pressure, and the reason that your joints are bad is because your body has lost the nutrients that it needs to maintain its proper health. It's a nutrient deficiency syndrome. It's nothing else. It's nutrient deficiencies. So your body's running on nutrient fumes, man. And so if you don't supplement and you jump on the treadmill, well, guess what happens? You burn through what little reserves you have, and you actually accelerate the problem.
It makes perfect sense to me. But my main thing was, and this is my last question, the doctor doesn't know how these supplements would affect the Plavix and vice versa.
Yeah.
And the other interesting thing I noticed, one of the ingredients was arginine. Isn't that something that can be dangerous for heart?
No, it's quite the opposite. Arginine is supportive to the heart. It's an essential nutrient that the heart needs. I mean, I guess you could take too much of it, but you know how hard that would be?
Yeah. Okay.
It'd be really hard. All right, so let's talk about the blood thinning, right? So, what are you on, warfarin or Coumadin?
I am on the Plavix, like I said, and that's the one I can't ever find out what would work with or not work with it. Amlodipine, Desolate, Soprol, Crestor, Clopidogrel, bisulfate.
All right, okay. All right. So here's what I would recommend you do, right? So when you get on our program, you're measuring your blood pressure to just keep a track of that so that as the numbers come down, you're going to go back to the health professional, have them reduce your meds, and that's a good thing. Well, you just do the same thing with your Plavix. So the doctor will order a test called an INR, I like Indigo, N like Nancy, R like Roger, or prothrombin time. A PT test is called prothrombin time. It's the same test, different names. And that tells the medical professional how well your blood is clotting, right?
Uh-huh.
So I would, every 2 weeks, I would go back to these people and have the INR test redone. And as the INR numbers start to get too low, right, because your blood, that will mean your blood is like too thin, it's too thin, then you can start to reduce the Plavix until you're completely off of the Plavix, you're on our stuff, and your INR levels are exactly where they need to be. The same as the blood pressure numbers are going to be exactly where they need to be when you're off of the meds and on our stuff. So it's just a weaning process, one to the other. And there's no danger, there's no harm, and no foul here, because if you have this stuff measured every 2 weeks, then you're good to go. And for goodness sake, the proof of the pudding's in the eating, right?
Right. So, so I won't have to worry about any clashes of medication and like herbs or anything. Because some herbs, what were they telling me? Dandelion root, the pharmacist was saying, was something that would affect the blood pressure medicine. And some supplement I was taking before had dandelion root in it.
Well, so look, I mean, there's much... you really don't need to worry so much about that. What you really need to worry is about the relationship between Plavix and everything else that you're taking.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it has a negative interaction with proton pump inhibitors, with dilantin, tamoxifen, heparin, warfarin. There's about 25 drugs that this stuff really just doesn't work well with at all. And you need to be much more concerned about that than you do with this stuff, because the stuff that we recommend are essential nutrients. Your body needs this stuff. You're going to do well with it. And, you know, just measure the INR every 2 weeks. Measure the blood pressure every day. Clean your diet up. Starting on month number 2, dial in 1,200 calories a day, and you're going to watch yourself sliding away right into the land of health. Thank you so much for the call. Yeah, you're welcome. I appreciate it. Listening to the podcast, 855-347-3696 is the number to call. Or if you'd like to order the products, you're hearing us talking about all this stuff, want to know how the heck you can get in on the wholesale price, that number, 855-347-3696. That's one way. If you're an internet person, just visit fireyourmdnow.com. Click on the Join Longevity button. Sign up as a customer. You get the wholesale price, and you just point and click your way to health through medical nutrition. Looks like we're going to Ohio now to talk to Brittany. Brittany's been hanging on for a while. Hey, Brittany, thanks for waiting. You are live. Hello, Brittany.
Hello?
Brittany, yeah. Hey, how are you? Yeah.
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for calling. How can I help?
Well, I have a couple different questions. I started about a little more than a month ago. I got the Beyond Tangy, and I made the drastic change of going completely gluten-free and getting your good food, bad food list, dropping the oils and everything. The oils were the hardest part.
Yeah.
But the two problems I'm having, the one, my sponsor is Matt. I'm sure you're familiar with Matt.
Yeah.
And he asked me to ask you about this. When I started the Tangy, after about the first week, I was expecting to feel great, and I actually started feeling kind of weak and almost exhausted, and I'm also having some skin issues. My face, I've always had a little bit of an acne problem, but it's not acne. It's actually my face is bumpy and swollen almost. And he asked me if I should ask you about a possible allergy to the Beyond Tangy.
Well, yeah, it's possible to you. So here's how you figure that out, okay? So in the morning, before you take your first dose of your Tangy, you sit in a chair comfortably. You know, I don't want you exercising or jumping up and down or doing anything. Just kind of like go about your business and sit in a chair and take your pulse. You know how to take your pulse?
Yeah.
All right, so you use the index finger and the second finger of your right hand, and you put it on your wrist, your left wrist, and you poke around until you find your pulse. It's up near the top of your left wrist. And then you count, you take your pulse. And the easiest way to take your pulse is to get a watch with a second hand on it and count how many heartbeats beat in 15 seconds. 15 seconds. And then you multiply that by 4. So that gives you how many beats per minute, because 4 times 15 is 60. So that'll give you your resting pulse, right? So you want to know what your resting pulse is. And then you want to have the Beyond Tangy Tangerine all mixed up and ready to go. And then you drink it down. And I want you to drink the whole thing down. In order to do this test, I want you to drink one 16-ounce glass of Beyond Tangy Tangerine in 15 minutes. I want you to just drink it down within 15 minutes. And after 15 minutes are up, I want you to take your pulse again and look to see if it's accelerated, and remarkably, and if it's accelerated by at least 8 beats per minute, 10 would be better. If it's accelerated by 10 beats per minute, then you're allergic to something in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, probably. This is an old-fashioned naturopathic trick to see whether or not you've just consumed something that you're allergic to. So if notwithstanding exercise, if you're doing exactly the same stuff, just sitting down and drinking your Beyond Tangy Tangerine and your pulse accelerates, then you're allergic to it. Another way to kind of look to see this would be to see whether or not starting to feel crappy as far as your energy goes happens within 60 minutes of drinking the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Is that when it happens, or is it hard to say?
Well, when I was taking it first thing in the morning, like with my breakfast or before breakfast, I seemed to feel worse much faster. So I started taking a little bit less, and I waited until mid-afternoon, like between 1 and 3, and it didn't seem to bother me as much, and I wasn't sure if it's just because I had already eaten breakfast and lunch, or it seemed...
Yeah, it's a peculiar thing here. I'm thinking that you're probably having an allergic reaction, especially if there's a skin condition that's getting worse after the fact, and is that your experience?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't, as far as I know, I don't have any food allergies that I've ever had, so it's kind of odd to me. I've never dealt with food allergies.
Well, let me tell you something. Food allergies, there's a bunch of different classifications of food allergies. There's a classical one, like, you eat peanuts and your throat swells up and you have to go to the emergency room because you can't breathe. And then there's a delayed hypersensitivity food allergy. Most people that have delayed hypersensitivity food allergies, they have no idea that they have a food allergy. So I'm betting that you've got a food allergy, but check it out with the pulse test and then call me back and tell me what happened, all right? 9933. Check it out, the webinar tonight, how to give your kids the appropriate dose, how to get them to take it, workaround strategies, etc., etc. And if you're not a subscription holder, you can get access to this week's webinar and all next week's webinars for free. For free as a 7-day trial by going to my website and signing up for the free newsletter. So you get a free newsletter. That's good. That beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. And then you get 7 days free access to the health recovery webinar to see if it's your cup of tea. It's going to be your cup of tea. It'll be the best cup of tea you've ever drunk, metaphorically. Check it out. Tonight's webinar, 8 o'clock Central Time, how to dose kids and teenagers. All right, check it out right there on fireyourmdnow.com. All right, so one last thing I wanted to add to Brittany's question about, the food allergy. So if Brittany does this test or you do this test, and son of a gun, there's something in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine that you're allergic to, well, don't worry, because you can only be allergic to a protein. And the Beyond Tangy Tangerine has 117, I think, or 115, or 120, I forget. It has over 100 fruits and vegetables in it, and so there's over 100 different types of protein in there, each of which you can have a food allergy to, and so you're in the weeds if you have a food allergy that's a severe food allergy and you take the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. But fear not, we come in peace and we come with knowledge and education. The workaround is the Tropical Plus or the Ultimate Classic. The Tropical Plus, the Ultimate Classic, or the Ultra Body Toddy with Cell Shield. The Tropical Plus the Ultimate Classic or the Ultra Body Toddy with Cell Shield. The Tropical Plus, the Ultimate Classic, or the Ultra Body Toddy with Cell Shield. Those are all liquid analogs to the Beyond Tangy Tangerine Powder, and none of which have 115 fruits and vegetables. So that's what Brittany will have to do. She'll have to switch it up if it is, in fact, an allergic reaction. And like the fella said, if it flies like a duck, quacks like a duck, looks like a duck, yeah, it's probably a duck. I'm thinking she has an allergic reaction. All right, moving on. It looks like Sandra is up next. Sandra, thanks for waiting. You are live.
Hi, thank you. Well, first I want to give a little, I guess, good thing of what's happened. I've been on the products for, I think, about 8 months or so. And I had this arthritis in my pinky fingers, and those are getting better, and the pain is gone, and they are getting smaller, these little nodules on the end. So
how big, on a scale of 10, what was the pain? Was it where before you started, where on a scale of 10 was the pain?
I would say really a 10, because if I even lightly tapped it, it really hurt. I didn't even know what it was. That's how, I was just stupid about it. Didn't know what it was, Yeah,
so it was a 10 out of a 10. You take the stuff and the pain's gone, right?
It's really gone. The pain is actually gone. I mean, the nodules are going away. It's like you say, like those icebergs melting away. Really, they are. In fact, I took a picture of my pinky fingers because I don't think anyone would believe it.
Well, that's better than having your fingers cut off, right? Which is what the MDs want to do, for goodness sake. That's a really great testimonial, Sandra. Good job.
Yeah. Now, in the last, yesterday, I don't know, I noticed I must have done something to the heel of my foot, and I can't walk on it very well, and I don't know what, I mean, I've contacted a chiropractor, so I'm going to have them take a look, but I'm just trying to figure out if it could be something like with calcium thing or deficiency still, or so I'm taking all of the products. I'm taking the Cal-Toddy and all of that.
All right, well, and so what part of your foot hurts now?
The heel. It's like a dull pain. It's just a very dull pain. I really can't put my full weight on it comfortably. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I'm walking around like a slight invalid here, and which is not kind of depressing.
Yeah, so, and you don't remember doing anything to it? Not consciously, I mean, I'm busy doing things all day long, so I really didn't think about it. But it seems like it was sometime in the morning yesterday, or maybe just, or afternoon or something. I noticed I couldn't walk really comfortably. Yeah, it's interesting. These things never, happen for no reason, and given the fact that you're taking the nutritional supplements, and given the fact that you have other bone and joint things that are getting better, it doesn't make sense at all that you should get a new bone and joint thing that's getting worse kind of out of nowhere, unless you've had this before. Is this something you've had before in your life?
No, never. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Okay, so you weren't plagued by this as a kid?
Never. Nope.
Okay. Then you must have stepped on a rock or done something and you just weren't aware of it and it's acting up. So what I would do until the pain resolves is I would double down on the amount of calcium that I'm taking. Which gives me a little gas, the calcium. I mean, I had trouble with the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, and now it's getting better. I can actually take it again. So yeah. That's getting better. All right, so just... But I have a little trouble with it. It was much worse with the other product, the OsteoFX. It was like a very bad pain in my stomach and bad gas. All right, so how many... All right. How many ounces are you taking a day of the calcium? The Cal-Toddy, 1 ounce, because 2 was really hard, and now I'm taking the 1 ounce. I'm splitting it up 3 times in a day. So you're taking 1/3 of an ounce 3 times a day? Mm-hmm. All right, so take 1/3 of an ounce 6 times a day now. Okay. Take 1/3 of an ounce 6 times a day, mix it with a little orange juice each time. Are you okay with orange juice? I'm okay with it, but I'm thinking maybe I'm getting a little blood sugar problem because I do notice I have a little trouble sleeping through the night and things, so... Well, all right, so, all right. So then there's 2 ways to skin that cat. You can get a blood test done called hemoglobin A1C. You can order that yourself. You can order a hemoglobin A1C test, and that's definitive for whether or not you have a blood sugar issue. Or you can just start taking sweeties and see if you start sleeping through the night. That's another way to do it. That's what I was just going to get the sweeties and... Yeah.
Get off.
But you have to find a way to get more. What's your current body weight?
115.
Yeah. So, I would.
5'5".
All right. So, an ounce a day is good for you, but really, in order to speed up the recovery of a bone and joint problem, you want to do more. So, another thing that you can do is you can just mix the calcium in with the Beyond Tangy Tangerine and drink the whole thing throughout the day really slowly. Have you ever tried that?
Sure. I thought that calcium kind of inhibited minerals getting...
No. You can mix them all together and drink from them slowly, but really I want your target to be 2 ounces of the calcium a day, and honestly, if you have to do 1/3 of an ounce 6 times a day, I'm okay with that. Mm-hmm. And if you're getting gas from it or any type of an upset in your stomach, just mix it with more liquid. So put 1/3 of an ounce in 4 ounces of water and drink it down like that. But really, you should be able to do a workaround for the calcium to get it into your body in a way that's not going to create an aggravation. The easiest way to do that is to dilute it more, okay?
Okay. I have one other question.
You need more calcium. All right, shoot.
Okay. My daughter's friend's mother has something called systematic capillary leak syndrome. She's very, very depressed. Apparently, she says they say it's like incurable, and only 500 people in the world have ever been diagnosed.
For goodness sake, this is the MD diagnosis ad certum ad infinitum, and this is the thing that MDs, because they're reductionists, every year they come up with another diagnosis of another subcategory of a subcategory of a disease that's in, it's just nonsense. How far they're going to keep breaking this stuff down. And, next week it'll be electron capillary dysfunction and atomic capillary dysfunction and quark capillary dysfunction. It's nonsense. So this is a breakdown in the wall of the capillary. What makes the walls of the capillary break down? Well, probably not enough capillary wall nutrition. That would be the first place I would go. So what are the walls of the capillaries made from? Well, they're made from protein and they're made from collagen. So I would do glucogel, appropriate for body weight, and selenium, appropriate for body weight, on top of the anti-aging Healthy Start Pack. So do the anti-aging Healthy Start Pack, glucogel, and selenium, appropriate for body weight. Give her 6 months on that program, and then have her go back to the MDs and have them reassess it, all right? And then once it's getting...
It's not a voodoo curse.
It's not a voodoo curse. Once it gets better... Yeah. Right? If she can get on the other side of it, then she wants to tell them she has an eye problem, right? And then they'll say, what is it? And she'll say, well, I can't see you anymore. You're fired because you told me I couldn't recover from this, and look what I did. Really, we have to hold people's feet to the fire. All right, Sandra, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Go get them.
Thank you.
I appreciate everything that you do. Rich is up next. Rich calling with a question about sarcoid, I think. I've been waiting all afternoon to talk to you, Rich, because I know a lot about this condition. Hey, thanks for calling. You are live.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that you know a lot about it. And it's actually a client of mine at the gym. He has some serious sarcoidosis. He's been seeing just a team of medical doctors and trying to get this under control. Supposedly the best in the business or whatever. It's pretty much what everybody says. But I just
is it in his lungs?
For him. I'm sorry?
Is it in his lungs? Where is it?
There's actually some extensive stuff going on. He's had a pacemaker installed. It's in his heart. It's in most all of his organs, as far as he was telling me.
Yeah.
And it just seems like a pretty extreme case. And he's been through, like I said, just about every treatment you can imagine. He's already had a pacemaker installed. He's been through a laundry list of stuff. I can't even begin to go through it all with you. I don't even know it all myself. But yeah, he's doing pretty well. He's working out at the gym. He's trying to stay on top of it. He's able to function. He's able to do most things. He's overweight, of course. He's working on trying to get that back down, and just wants time with his family, of course, is the main thing. So.
All right, well, let me give you my take on sarcoidosis. Let me see how much time we've got. Yeah. If I don't dial this in by the end of this segment, I'll pick it up at the beginning of the last segment here on the show. All right, so sarcoidosis is fancy schmancy doctor talk for flesh-like disease. Flesh-like disease. That's the actual literal Latin translation. Flesh-like disease. It's also called Besnier-Beck disease, or Besnier-Beck-Schaumann disease, and it's a syndrome involving abnormal collections of chronic granulomas, chronic inflammatory cells, that can form in multiple organs. Like, so you've got the body produces these weird little pockets of inflammation, cellular tissue as a remnant of inflammation in many different organ systems of the body, and no doctors have no clue what causes it. Most people that get sarcoidosis, they get it and then they get over it. Nobody knows what caused it. Nobody knows what makes it go away. About 50% of people who get sarcoidosis, once they get over it, it comes back. And there's only about 10% of people that actually get sarcoidosis that it's a big, giant, freaking problem. So it sounds like your guy's in the 10% category. So the game is afoot, as Sherlock Holmes would say. Now, again, remember, we espouse and advocate and view everything from the holistic vantage point. The holistic vantage point is the best vantage point to bring to bear when we're treating someone with sarcoidosis, or when we are attempting, let me take those words back, when we are attempting to support and promote the structure and function of organs in the body in the face of an MD diagnosis of sarcoidosis. So I'm going to dial this right in for you when we come back. Talking to Rich about a friend of his who has sarcoidosis and he's overweight. All right, so, you know, from the holistic perspective, again, and it just boggles my mind how silly the reductionistic MD is and why they can just complicate things and just miss stuff that's right in front of their face. So what happens with sarcoidosis from our point of view is you've got functional breakdowns in different organ systems where your body is led to form granulomatous tissue. And why does this happen? Well, one of the reasons, presumptively, is because that particular organ has run out of the nutrients it needs to maintain the health of the certain part of the body. And so when certain of its cells start to run out of nutrients, they shrivel up, decay, and die. And the body forms a granuloma around them, or those cells coalesce into a granuloma. And, you know, it's not an autoimmune thing, it's not a viral thing, it's not a genetic thing, it's a simple nutrient breakdown on top of consistent consumption of food that are pro-inflammatory. So, now, how do I know that? Now, if this theory is accurate, then there must be other evidence of nutrient deficiencies, and guess what? He's overweight. So from our point of view, anybody who's overweight, I don't care if you're overweight 5 pounds or 500 pounds, the reason that you're overweight is because you're eating too many calories. And why are you eating too many calories? Because your body is nutritionally starved. So obesity, or just simple being overweight, 5, 10, 30 pounds, is a nutrient deficiency disease. So I know this guy's nutrient deficient because he's overweight. And his nutrient deficiencies must be extreme because different organ systems are starting to break down and form granulomas. Why are they forming granulomas? Well, I don't know, but if I had to make a guess, I would say it's because his liver and his kidneys and his spleen and his heart have run out of the fundamental things that they need to maintain their structural integrity, and so they're breaking down. So, really, again, this isn't rocket science, and what I would do if I had sarcoidosis for 6 months as an experiment to support and promote the structure and function of my body, number one, and he has to do all of these things, by the way, or this will not work. If he's just going to piss around with it, it won't work. He's got to do all of these things. He has to eliminate the 10 bad foods, period. No cheating, no whining, no complaining. If it's on the 10 bad food list, he doesn't even look at it, number one. Number two, he takes one anti-aging healthy start pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. One anti-aging healthy start pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. He takes 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium. 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium a month. 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium a month. 1 bottle of plant-derived minerals per 100 pounds of body weight per month. 1 bottle of plant-derived minerals per 100 pounds of body weight per month, and as much Z Radical as he can afford. Up to 8 bottles a month. He doesn't need to do more than 8 bottles a month. If he can afford 8 bottles a month of Z Radical on top of everything else, have him go for it. If he can't do that, do 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1. I want him to be doing at least 1 bottle of Z Radical every month. All right. Now, in addition to the supplements and eliminating the 10 bad foods, starting on month numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, he must dial in 1,200 calories a day. 1,200 calories a day. And I don't want him to exercise. Exercise would be counterproductive for this guy at this point in time. I don't want him to exercise. Maybe if he feels like it, he can start to exercise after month number 2 of being on this program. But remember, exercise depletes your nutrients. This guy, from my point of view, is extremely nutritionally depleted. So if I put him on a treadmill, he's going to get more depleted faster. So I want to fill up his tank before I put him on the treadmill. So if he wants to start exercising, he can do that sometime in month number 2 of the program, all right? And starting in month number 2, he dials in 1,200 calories a day. When he's eating 1,200 calories a day and is nutritionally satisfied with all of the products, it'll be easy to do it. You know, if he tries to do 1,200 calories a day when his body's under-nutrified, he will not be able to maintain that discipline, and this is why people yo-yo with their weight. So eliminate the 10 bad foods. Give him those nutritional supplements every day. Starting in month number 2, dial in 1,200 calories a day, and let him do this for 6 months in a row. And then have the knucklehead MDs reassess him and call me back with war room reports. I want to see how this guy goes, because I know that I can support and promote the structure and function of his body. So lean on me and I will help. Ladies and gentlemen, you've wasted another perfectly 2 good hours. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, hoping to see you at the webinar tonight, 8 o'clock Central. Check it out, fireyourmdnow.com. I'll see you tomorrow.